Welcome back to the Mark Cox Show, and you're again listening to Chris Arp, substitute hosting for Mark today. And as I said before we went on break, we're going to have Project 21 member Council Ned. Let me give you a quick bio before we get to the bishop. The Right Reverend Council Ned is a founding member of the Project 21 Black Leadership Network and a Pennsylvania State Constable. Archbishop Ned serves as director of St. Albans Anglican Church in Pine Grove Mills, Pennsylvania. He is also author of the book, The Final Four, A Scriptural Journey Through Advent. How are you, Bishop?
I'm doing well. It's great to be on.
Okay, glad to have you. I wanted to have you on last week, but you were on vacation when I guest hosted Friday. But you wrote a very interesting article for Project 21. Let me read just a little something about this, and then I want you to expound on it a little more. You wrote, "A pistol in the pulpit may sound extreme, but when people of faith increasingly appear to be targets of armed evil, a good shepherd must do what he must to protect the flock from the wolves. From my perspective as both a bishop and a cop, people must be protected."
Yes, I wrote that. And yeah, so essentially, with the recent church shootings that we've seen, it's clear to me that one of the softest targets across America are churches. And, we live in a world now where people don't value sacred space. Mm-hmm. When my church was founded in the mid-'70s, up until about 5 years ago, we left the doors unlocked all the time.
Right.
So anybody could come in off the street and pray, meditate, whatever they wanted to do 24 hours a day. The building was always open. But then, kids were getting in there and doing some things, and so we decided to lock the door, give everybody the key. All the members of the church a key so they can come in whenever they wanted. Mm-hmm. But the fact is we live in a different society than the one that, most of us grew up in. And sacred space isn't valued, and there's predators out there who are looking for soft targets, and churches are about the softest target there is.
Exactly right. And I tell you one thing that I've noticed ever since that we've had these church shootings, that the churches that I've attended and have been to, most of them have they're large churches. Most of them have several openings to get in, and I can just see where a person of ill will could come in and cause great harm because there's just so many entrances and people aren't really paying attention and thinking that they're are in any danger in church.
Right. You just pointed out sort of one of the big issues there. I mean, a lot of the mega churches, the large mega churches. Mm-hmm. Across this country, they have police officers there, armed security, metal detectors, and multiple layers of security to make sure that the people inside are safe. That's cost prohibitive from probably at least 95% of the churches across the country. So then, people are left with either being sitting ducks or having some sort of means of protection and some sort of safety plans in case events happen. And, that's why I was driven to write the piece. That's why I was driven to sort of make some changes at my own parish. And it was funny because, I, as a law enforcement officer, I'd done security at synagogues mm-hmm. who, thought there might be a threat or were concerned about something on a particular day. And I've done security there, and I've done training sessions for synagogues on how to protect themselves. And the funny thing is that I had this sort of physician heal thyself moment where I realized, I've done this for other churches and synagogues, but I haven't done it for my own church. Right. And so, we started to have a candid conversation, and I sort of did a security threat assessment, and we put some things in place. And so, St. Albans is a much safer place now.
What type of reaction have you gotten from your article from your parishioners and from other members of the clergy?
Well, I live in rural central Pennsylvania. Okay. I know a lot of my members have concealed carry permits. It's not something we necessarily talk about all the time, sure. But, I know there are armed people in our church on any given Sunday. And so, there was no backlash or anything like that. They were glad that I was stepping up and addressing the issue in a proactive way that could help our parish and help other churches.
Mm-hmm. What about other clergy members? Have they said, "Hey, I don't think this is such a good idea," or have they been pretty much on board?
My back.
What's that?
Maybe they said it behind my back. They haven't said it to me.
I hear you. Now, very interesting too that you are also a constable in Pennsylvania. My wife is from Bradford, Pennsylvania, which is northeast Pennsylvania.
I know where that is.
Yeah, they say that's the coldest place on the planet, supposedly. But
I believe it.
So, in terms of I've lost my train of thought there for a second. You're as a constable there in where you live. Do the people generally, as you were saying, do they carry weapons normally? Are there a lot of concealed carry?
There are a lot of concealed carry permits in Pennsylvania. All you have to do is go down to the sheriff's office in your county, pay your money, they do the background check, and you can get issued a permit. So, I don't know how many people are carrying on a given day, but, in rural central Pennsylvania, I just assume most people are carrying.
What do you think the argument is mainly that people don't want guns in churches? Because I wouldn't think it would be, hey, we don't want God-fearing church people having guns because we don't know what they may do, and if they do have guns, they probably know how to use them. I mean, what is the fear?
Well, it's interesting because I carry my gun just about everywhere I go, because occasionally I get death threats from some of my political views, and I often run into people that I've arrested and put in jail.
Mm-hmm.
So I carry a gun just about everywhere I go, except I was not carrying it to church on Sunday because I had this visceral reaction that guns don't belong in church. And, but I've since reassessed that. And, the church is filled with people that I probably care about the most on the planet. Why do they not deserve the same level of protection that others do?
Now, Bishop, if I was a broadcast professional like Kelly and Jason, I would put a caller on with you to answer his question, but I don't know how to do it. So, don't worry about Kelly. I'll just read it to him. He's got a question, Michael, and I'll get to Michael, or maybe he wants to, after I'm off with you, we'll have him on here. But Michael says there should be no weapons in church. Jesus wanted no violence. How do you react to that?
Well, there's definitely a biblical basis, a scriptural basis for protecting the church. When the temple was first built, they set up temple guards to protect the people, the workers, and the temple. I think it's in First Chronicles, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hold me to that. But there's multiple instances, and the role of the good shepherd is to protect the sheep. And, that's why bishops in apostolic succession carry what's called a crozier. Mm-hmm. It's a bishop's staff. And it has a hook on there for guiding the sheep and another pointy end on the other end for fending off the wolves. Mm-hmm. And, I have one in my church because I'm a bishop.
Right.
But, the role of the bishop or overseer is literally to protect the sheep.
Excellent. Bishop, good stuff. Tell people if they want to read more about what you're writing, or they want to get a hold of you, how can the audience get a hold of you?
Well, you can contact me through project21.org, or you can follow me on Twitter at Bishop Ned, BISHOPNEDD.
Bishop, enjoy, and I'm glad that you were on today and really enjoyed you, and I hope that you'll come back again on the Mark Cox Show.
Oh, of course. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you. Have a good week. And before we go on break, let's take a call from Michael, who we were talking about. Michael, did that answer suffice for you?
Actually, no.
Okay.
I see his point and agree. Old Testament under the old law was great. The sword in one hand.
So you don't need. So wait a minute. So you don't need protection in the New Testament?
No. I totally believe in people should protect themselves, and if their life is in danger, to take the life of the other person before theirs is taken, or a third party. I'm not anti-gun.
Okay.
I'm anti-Christian with a gun because Jesus, a bishop protects his flock spiritually. Jesus, according to their book, fulfilled things of the Old Testament and gave them new law in the New Testament. So you can't pick and choose and cherry pick. A true Christian is going to pray for their enemies. They're going to do good to those that spitefully use them. That's not I mean, it's as clear as black and white.
So you
and
should just
so
you should just be a sitting duck because the New Testament says Jesus says we're supposed to love each other.
I'm saying that
we can
a
have a gun.
Christian, if someone wants to call themselves a Christian according to the Scripture, yes, you don't carry a gun. You don't do those things. You are a sitting duck. That's what that teaches.
I don't know what interpretation you have in the Bible, but I don't think my Bible tells me to be a sitting.
It's in the New Testament.
I don't think my Bible tells me.
Words. Just read his red words.
I don't think the Bible tells me to be a sitting.
You'll see that there's nowhere. Even when it was misquoted by Giles on another day.
Mike, we got to go. We're about to go.
There's a scripture about Jesus telling
I'm not trying to cut you off. We're about to go to a break. We'll be back after this break. You're listening to the Mark Cox Show on FM News Talk 97.1.